Hey, my guys, welcome to episode 4 of the My Guys Magic podcast. I'm Pete. I'm here with my buddy Joe. Say hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up, my guys?
All right, so this week we're going to run through some upcoming events in the next 30 days. We're going to talk about meta shifts in standard and modern, talk about some results from the past events, and then probably spend some time talking about standard for Joe, our buddy Joe here. He's heading up to Chicago to play in a team event that we'll get to here in a minute. And then, yeah, so I'm going to get started here with the upcoming events. So this weekend, we have the NRG team event in Chicago, which is standard, modern, and sealed, and that's 10K. Joe, you're playing the standard seat?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Day 2, they have a modern 10K. So, Joe, you decide what you're going to play in that yet?
Not quite.
All right, perfect.
Still distracted by shiny objects and probably bad decks, but we'll see.
We'll get to that here in a little bit. Also this weekend is Spotlight Liverpool, which is standard. Should be fun. And this weekend we have the Southeast Asian RC, the South America Regional Championship, and then Laughing Dragon Tacoma. There's a modern 20K, which is an 8-slot RCQ, and a modern 5K, which is a 2-slot. And then jumping ahead to next weekend, November 7th through 9th, we have the MTG China Open RC. And then November 21st through 23rd, we have the American RC in Las Vegas. We have the face-to-face in Canada, which is an RC. We have Japan's RC and the European RC in Antwerp. And then that's it.
Yeah, a lot of high-level Magic coming up. We're going to be seeing these results pouring in. And then, obviously, Vegas, right? We forgot Vegas, right?
Oh, no, I threw it in there.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. I was like...
You're
we'll have...
listening?
Sorry, dude. So, unfortunately, like, we won't have all of those. I guess we'll have, like, the China Open. And then, but really just whatever we get from this NRG event this weekend.
And then the South American Regional Championship and Laughing Dragon.
Like, those will be our next major data points. I'm not sure, is there like a big MTGO championship going on? We'll probably talk about those two. I mean, that data I feel like is pretty reliable to base meta shifts on, but we'll see that as we kind of dig through the meta results over the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to stay on top of all these different events, isn't it?
Yeah. For the most part, online mirrors paper what does well at a tournament. Then the grinders on MTGO pick that up, and
yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna dig into our meta look over the last couple weeks. We're gonna start with modern because I think the bulk of our time is going to be dedicated to talking about standard and how the results at Baltimore are going to kind of shape up the future of Magic, at least what's left of this format before the ban, where I think everybody anticipates there's going to be some sort of a Vivi or Cauldron ban.
Oh, absolutely. Leave my boy alone, though.
Yeah, Pete is sad that Vivi is probably going to be leaving us. But so starting with Modern, there were 10 challenges. The Baltimore Super RCQ at the Spotlight Series event. That was like the Sunday event. And then there were 2 Australian events. So the Australian RC and then their like day 2 5K event, which had 133 players. So those were the 13 events that we looked at over the course of the last week or so in assessing kind of the direction that the meta is headed. Apologies if I missed anything. Please let us know in the comments if you feel like there was some additional event that we should have included. So the winners of those 13 events, there were 3 Titan winners, 3 Ruby Storm winners, which I think, I don't know, people have the perception that Ruby Storm has been pretty poor, right? I mean, just based off of its previous performance and kind of coming out of nowhere. But I feel like when you play against Ruby Storm, it's like, the deck either does nothing or it just wins, right? Like,
I got turned 2'd by it yesterday, but I think the lack of Storm hate
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Makes
Like
for a resurgence in Storm, right?
yeah, cards like Surgical Extraction aren't as good against. You need kind of like more widespread graveyard hate, and I feel like Surgical Extraction has been on the rise, where
Yes.
that doesn't really. You might be able to get like one ritual out of the deck, or
Right.
hit one of their pieces, but I feel like they're still going to have enough gas in their graveyard that
Yeah, you
an
need like a
effect like
Nihil
that.
Spellbomb or
Nile Spellbomb, an Endurance,
Soul Guide
or
Lantern.
something. I mean, and those things are still floating around in some lists, but I don't know, something
It's
considered
not
such...
as many Damping Spheres running around.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, and the decks that are playing Damping... Like, I don't even think Tron wish lists have those in the sideboard, so... Yeah, maybe something to consider. Jeskai Blink, 2 wins, and then Neoform, Zoo, Affinity, Mono Green Brood Scale, and Espergorios all took down one of those events as well. So a little over 1,300 players across those 13 events. Yeah, and I think that the most interesting development is Ruby Storm coming out of the Australian RC. So I'm going to just pull up his list here. Kind of all your typical stuff. 2 artist talent, 18 land, 3 Past in Flames, a couple Valakut Awakening is like a dual MDFC. I don't know, this kind of looks like relatively standard Storm list. Like I don't really see anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed much.
Interesting. I think the sideboard is maybe where the interesting things are. Is there's 4 Orim's Chant and 4 Prismatic Ending. Obviously, Orim's Chant is good against
any blue-based deck with
like
counters.
A counterspell deck, right? You just chant before you go off.
That's how I lost.
Yeah, you preemptively chant and then they just go off, right? And then Prismatic Ending for...
Yeah, they untapped, cast chant. I had counters in hand.
Yeah. So... And then, a couple Storm targets in the sideboard. A Past in Flames, which is probably, a reasonable card to get with Wish in a given time. And then, like a creature, 2 Brotherhood's End for the, probably Boros Energy type decks. Probably Prowess as well. And then a Wear Tear, I'd assume, for Titan or decks where there's other hate going on.
Good answer to Damping Sphere.
Yeah. What are some other good hate cards for... I guess...
Flusterstorm?
No, the Vexing Bauble is pretty good against the Ral Ultimate, right? Just shuts that off completely. But that's really it. Like, everything else... This deck is like if it's trying to win in a way, like if it's trying to win like Ruby Medallion, like old school way without trying to trigger Ral. Obviously, Vexing Bauble is not really getting it done. Like Dranith Magistrate, that's a card I'm thinking of, where they can't play cards from exile, which is basically how, Reckless Impulse, Ren's Resolve, Pass in Flames. That's a really good sideboard card.
Yeah.
And I think that we've seen a decrease in that. And obviously this took place long ago because of the shift in Cascade decks going away, right?
Correct, yeah.
And so that ban was over like a year ago or more now. So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I played it.
Bring back Violent Outburst.
Yeah,
no,
right.
But what's really good hate card against Storm? Having your own Orim's Chant.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. You just like let them Pass in Flames and then Orim's Chant them.
Yeah,
that seems pretty good.
Or they Orim's Chant, you Orim's Chant response.
Yeah, so we're also here on mcgdex.net looking at modern win rates. We were kind of talking about what time span to use for looking at the win rate matrix, and we pulled up the 15-day span. There wasn't really a lot of change in the win rates for like the top 5 or so decks, but Once you get further down this list, obviously there's a lot of bizarre anomalies that come up. So we increased it to 30 days. I think that's going to kind of be the standard just to make sure there's a sufficient sample size for some of the things that we're looking at. So Amulet Titan at the top, right? 55% win rate. It's just still doing its thing, right? Like it won 3 of these events. And I think the Blink, if you want to lump all the Blink variants together, it's the most represented strategy. But in terms of individual decks,
we don't want to lump them together.
Yeah, like and they do kind of operate in different ways, but I guess they're all kind of similar, like mid-range-ish strategies with Blink components,
right?
Trying to accrue value with ETB effects and interact in like a mid-range kind of
generic
way.
Blink.
Yeah, right. But it obviously they all have kind of unique weak points. I think they're maybe one of the things that ties them all together is Quantum Riddler and Ephemerate, maybe.
The Rizzler?
The Rizzler, dude. So, yeah, Amulet Titan obviously kind of holding the format on its back right now. Esper Reanimator, Is It Prowess, both at 50% win rate. Affinity, 54% win rate. Boros Energy, Domain Aggro, E-Tron, Esperphelia, Gruul, like Blood Cheat, Brute Scale Combo. Those are all like 50%, 49% Dex, 51% Dex. Belcher, 44% Dex, which kind of jives with the performance we've seen Belcher have.
Yeah, it's been sitting around there for every event
since the modern PT. And then Jeskai Blink, 54%, right? And then, not really a lot of interesting stuff until we get to Simic Ritual, which only 153 matches over the course of the last 30 days, but it shows a 61% win rate, which that kind of aligns with what we saw out of the RC, right? Very low representation in the metagame, but, put some decks into the, top 32 at the RC.
Yeah, the deck can be scary.
Right, and then if you really want to go lower on the list, right, to the things that distract me, right, there's this like 4-color ritual list. I'm pretty sure Aspiring Spike popularized that one, but 35 matches only, 57% win rate.
That's the land destruction version, right?
Yeah, and one of those recently did well at the Super Sunday Modern RCQ at SEGCon Baltimore. 88 players. This gentleman, Josh Ting, top forward. I've seen lists that run Shardless, or that running Shardless Agent and Bloodbraid Elf, with Bloodbraid Elf only able to hit Shardless Agent or Birthing Ritual, but Josh has cut Bloodbraid Elf for Force of Negations, which I think I kind of respect, but I don't know. Something that has kind of always interested me since I've seen it, but otherwise, kind of the meta, the winners meta, the top 8 percentage across those events, 20% Jeskai Blink. So 20 of the top 8 decks were Jeskai Blink. So that's still kind of, doing pretty well, even though it's not one of the more represented decks. People are starting to pick it up. I know Misplaced Ginger, I think he won
2 challenges.
So
right?
These are both his wins in this data. So, yeah, props to him for that.
Yeah. And
then Espergorios, Boros Energy, Is It Prowess, Titan, Affinity, and then this resurgence in Ruby Storm. All of those decks are sitting in between like 7 and 12% of the top 8 meta. And then Belcher, Esper Blink, and Zoo, 3 to 4% decks. And then kind of all your other typical decks that you hear about are 2% and below. Interesting decks to note. Jeskai Ascendancy, right? We've been talking about that in the past. You actually ran a couple leagues with that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. So Pete put together Jeskai Ascendancy, and I don't think he had a very good time with it.
No, I immediately went 1-4.
Okay.
3 of the matches Two were against Affinity, where I got turn 1 Capid and then turn 2 Capid, and the other match was against Neoform, and they turn 2'd me both games. But I think if you're gonna play a Mox Opal deck, you should be playing Affinity. Jeskai Ascendancy seems fun, but I don't think it's where you want to be. And maybe I just suck, but I did some testing, and I don't think it's where you want to be. If you're playing Mox Opal, definitely play Affinity, because the chance at a turn 1 Kappa or turn 2 Kappa is near impossible for most decks to deal with.
Yeah, and I think that what we've seen with the Affinity list is that they're trying to be able to grind a little bit more, and I think that's this Jeskai Ascendancy deck has the ability to maybe grind a little bit more, but it's not really grinding toward. I think it's harder to grind toward a win, whereas
Right.
like the more traditional Affinity lists are just trying to, put reasonable threats on the battlefield to kill you, where this really only has Cutter. It's like really Cutter and combined with Jeskai Ascendancy is like a reasonable way to kill you.
Yeah,
opponent.
so if you don't assemble the Emery, Cutter, Jeskai Ascendancy, where you can just repeatedly keep casting a bauble out of your...
Yeah. It gets a little difficult to
Yes.
to have like the material to
Actually...
unless you have an Ascendancy.
Correct.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I think
No, it does play, 4 Metallic Rebuke.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 1 white artifact? Exiles. So,
Portable hold?
3 portable holes.
So a little interaction.
Help you buy some time, but I didn't have a good time with it. I'm off it.
Yeah, so we've kind of seen a little bit of a drop in like Eldrazi Ramp and Tron lists. And a lot more like diversification in the styles of those decks. So there's this Eldrazi aggro deck, right? Made it into the top 8 of one of these events. And then, there's like this black Tron list that keeps popping up. So
No, the
people
first
kind of experimenting.
Eldrazi aggro list, is that you're talking about with the red with Line Breaker?
Line Breaker. Yeah, that's exactly it. So some interesting decks popping up in Modern. But obviously, Modern, I think Modern is like the happy format right now. It feels pretty balanced, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wide open.
I think that although everyone agrees that Titan is probably the most powerful deck, we continue to talk about how the challenge in playing that deck is what prevents Wizards from banning, like taking any action against it.
That's what they say, yeah.
And I think that there's some ways to combat the deck, Solitude, I think, does a fine job. Consign, stopping some of the triggers. So
Worms Chant.
yeah, like you have to be able to. I think if you know how the deck is operating, at least in a fundamental way, you don't have to know all the lines that they can kill you with, but you should certainly have a good idea of what people are doing, like how they can assemble a combo based on their list.
Well,
Are they playing Analyst? Are they doing,
I mean, you should, to do well in Modern, you should know what
other
most of the decks are doing.
Right, because you have to be able to anticipate how you need to react or what kind of hand you need to keep in order to assemble a clock to deal with them.
Yeah, I've been to tournaments where I sit down across my opponent and I'm playing a meta deck and my opponent starts reading my cards. I'm like, what are you doing here? you need to know my deck already.
Yeah.
If you want to do well.
For sure. Yeah, one of the things that I've seen people do a lot of is they Solitude Titan before they go get their lands. So I think you lose a little bit of percentage points when you do that, because the Titan player may go get... they may think that you don't have the solitude, and so you need to try to bluff that or represent in a way that, if you do have the solitude, you want to try to get them to go get lands like Mirror Pool.
Right.
Or not Mirror Pool. What's it called? What's the land that copies the Titan?
Yeah, Mirror Pool.
It is Mirror Pool?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking of the I'm thinking of the it is Mirror Pool.
Yeah.
I don't know why. What
do
is the land I'm thinking of that like copies a land when it enters?
Echoing Deeps or Vesuva?
No. It's like an older card.
Don't know, but
can't remember. Anyways,
but you play the deck. You should know Mirror Pool.
So Mirror Pool, like, so if they go get that and then they try to copy their Titan, then you're basically blowing them out because they've spent all their mana trying to make a copy of their Titan, and you get to Solitude it. Whereas if you give them the information that you have the Solitude before they search their lands,
right, then they can have an advantage because they could do something different.
Yeah, if they have some spare mana, maybe they go get Teleria West in a Lotus Field and can generate enough mana to cast another Titan and then go off anyway. Yeah, or maybe they don't have that. Maybe they're going to go get Hand Weaver Battlements and just try to give their Titan haste, and then they've spent mana. They've contributed additional resources to taking that line, and you can get them that way. So you want to let them go search their land. I think in almost every case, or at least most cases, I would say, you want to let them go search their lands first because you're going to be able to respond to the amulet triggers anyway.
Right.
So that was one thing that I saw in some of the coverage, that you definitely want to let them search for their lands first and then make a decision. But yeah, I was listening to Midweek Metagame with Nassif and Edgar Magaish, and Nassif was talking about, and I think his Azorius list in this data was actually his top 4 of a challenge, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, he recently top 4'd one of these challenge with a blue-white list. But he was like, I feel pretty comfortable with blue-white, as we all, most of us know that's kind of his thing. And he said, the only way that I think I could gain percentage points would be to pick up Amulet Titan and get some reps with it. He was like that. So I think him saying that is
a testament to how good Titan is.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely. So, all right. So now for standard. So before we dig into, maybe we should just start. Should we start with Baltimore or just talk about the challenges first? We'll talk about the challenges first, and then we'll kind of finish with Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So. Challenge result data, 9 challenges over the course of the last week, 425 players. 4 of those 9 events were won by Is It Cauldron. And then there was 1 Simic aggro list, 1 Orzhov Pixie, Jeskai, 1 Jeskai artifacts, 1, which is basically blue-white artifacts, 1 Dimir mid, and 1 mono red deck. So kind of saw a drop in mono red's meta share this last week, compared to 2-3 weeks ago. Mono red was
the high
40% of the meta, at least in the top 8. And then
when people are realizing it's not actually favored against Vivi.
Yeah, and the data kind of shows that it's close, right? It's not. It's not like completely lopsided, but it is not actually. You're not actually like 52%.
Right, it's not.
You're actually like 49% down, right?
It's not the VV killer people thought it was.
Yeah, so again, back on mtgdecks.net, mono red aggro is 44% against Is It Cauldron across 406 matches over the last 30 days. So there you go. And I guess
and that's my
sorry.
That's my experience with the matchup too.
Yeah, 44% over 406 matches. So
After Vinny taught me how to sideboard.
yeah, and it doesn't really have like a great matchup against Sultai Reanimator or Azorius Control, according to this information, which seems kind of crazy. That Azorius Control, I don't know. I think the deck just had, like, I think it was playing too many lands, and I know that seems kind of crazy, but it was like big red of old without the card advantage engines. But yeah, so not really too much to talk about with these challenges. This Orzhov Pixie list was like a 26 land Cosmogrand Zenith deck with a couple Overlord of the Baelmerk and one Elspeth in the main.
Yeah, so it had 2 Overlords, 1 Elspeth, and how many Acolytes? Did it have the full 4 Acolytes?
The full 4 Elegy Acolyte, 4 Nurturing Pixie, 4 Sun Pearl Kieran, 4 Cosmogrand Zenith, 2 Get Lost, 2 Strategic Betrayal, 1 Tiny Bones Jones Up,
Yeah, and
4
I guess
Momentum Breaker, 4 Nowhere to Run,
26
2
lands,
Sunrip.
you want the concession to wanting to hit your 5th land drop on turn 5, right?
I guess.
You have Overlord, so you possibly milling some lands.
I guess in my mind, with a deck that doesn't really have a lot of card draw. I mean, I guess it has Elegy Acolyte as its card draw, and then I don't know, Baelmerk and Elspeth as its kind of sources of recurring advantage. But the Unholy Annexer on the board, I don't like to see that many lands in a list like this. I mean, they don't have anything that they can dump their mana into either.
Besides the man lands.
Yeah, there's a few. There's 2 Soulstone Sanctuary and 1 Restless Fortress, which I don't know. I guess this deck is just a ton of like removal, and then
yeah, I don't know what its matchup.
I guess they get. Maybe you do want to hit your land drops because of Nurturing Pixie and Sun Pearl Kieran, but
and with Cosmogrand, you want to be able to cast Cosmogrand
multiple in a spell.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, you want to be able to Sun Pearl, pick up Nowhere to Run, recast it, trigger Cosmogrand, do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and then Jeskai Artifacts. It's called Jeskai because it plays 1 Fire Crystal. In reality, it's blue-white. Blue-white artifacts. The Fire Crystal was just kind of a interesting way to kind of combo off where you
just a one shot.
Yeah, make a bunch of big things with Solemn Simulacrum. Sam,
our buddy Sam plays this deck, and he's on pretty much this list.
Yeah, had some unfortunate games against me last night where he mulliganed multiple times and like didn't draw land 3 on time. Like either of the games we played, I was playing Mono Red because you were playing Vivi. So
yeah, sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Probably the last time I get to play it.
Yeah, and then so from this data, 36% of the top 8s were Cauldron, 20% were Dimir Mid, 17% Mono Red. Simic Aggro, which is kind of one of the breakout decks that we're going to talk about. If you could call it a breakout deck. It's been around a little bit, but the fact that it top 8'd Baltimore, I think, is maybe we're going to see a rise in its meta share. And I would expect to see an increase in that after this inevitable Vivi ban that I think is coming.
Nope. Nope.
And then this like Simic Omniscience deck was in there as well. Sultai Reanimator, a couple of Azorius aggro list. So yeah, not too much of a change. I think the drop in Mono Red was the biggest thing to note out of the standard metagame shifts. But now jumping into Baltimore, right? So a little over 500 players. If I'm not mistaken,
it was like 546.
546 players. Mono Red Leyline took down the tournament, basically. Pretty handily, too, if you watch any of the coverage. I mean, he wasn't undefeated. It wasn't that he was first seed or anything like that. So he was on the draw for most of top 8 and was just, like, he turned 3 people.
Yeah.
Like, most of the games that he won, which, man, it was crazy. Like...
Well, yeah, any game.
When he did that, when I think it was against Van Dang, where he put the unable to scream on the creature, he just had a ley line in play and 3 pump effects in his hand and just killed him.
Yeah, that was game 2 of the finals. It was just like swing with my toy.
So I think it's fair to say he was running hot.
Yeah. Well, any games where you actually get to stick a ley line or resonance,
Pretty good.
odds are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think he did pretty often and had some nutty draws.
Yeah, because I played the deck back with Cacophony Scamp and Heartfire Hero and deck anytime.
It didn't behave for you?
Oh, no, I killed people.
I don't know.
Ley line out, and I'd be like, you're at 20? All right, cool, now you're not.
Yeah, that's kind of sick. Yeah, Burn Together's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so he was running hot, but I think the deck is powerful. I mean, there's a reason why Leyline of Resonance is banned in Best of One. They had to see some data out of that, and they're just like, this is too good for this format. So I don't see why that wouldn't translate into like your standard format. Why did it go away? What was like?
I guess people were just off it with the ban. Well, Cacophony Scamp rotated.
Yeah.
And they banned Heartfire Hero.
And Monstrous Rage.
Which
was some of the... Yeah. But obviously, like, this guy... He was kind of like a lone wolf, and he won the tournament, basically, right? Like,
he played it in Spotlight Orlando, too. I don't know. I don't have the results in front of me.
I think he day 2'd.
He day 2'd with it in Orlando. He's been working on it. It's kind of...
I think he maybe even said in his interview that he top 64'd, maybe? But...
I know...
Let's see if we can pull up his name. Let's search. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, he did top 64.
Went 10-5 in Orlando.
Yeah, and then he went 10-4 at his regional championship, but this was from March? No. When was this? May. So.
Yeah. And a version of the deck won the Spotlight in Atlanta in January.
Right. Yeah. Our boy Odenheimer.
Yeah.
He's a Florida guy.
Oh, yeah. He's
Super
over
nice
at Tampa guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. Or is he in Orlando? I can't remember. I know he's in finance. I've talked to him before. He like works for an accounting firm, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember. Super nice guy. But yeah, so...
Oh, we're in Florida?
Yeah, Melbourne, Florida. Same place where the,
Australian
same
RC?
name of the city where the Australian RC happened. But obviously, Vivi dominated this tournament, right?
Yes.
Like,
which was
by all metrics.
Which was expected.
31.4% of day 1, and essentially 52% of day 2. So a 60% increase in its meta share from day 1 to day 2. And then it was 20 of the top 32 decks.
Yeah, it was 5 of the top 8, 11 of the top 16,
yeah,
and 20 of the top 32.
Yeah, so just, and I've been, I don't know, talking to some friends about, like, well, why can't we come up with a deck that can just, like, beat Vivi? And I was talking to Ivan, he's like, yeah, just play Vivi. It's the best deck at beating Vivi.
Yeah.
Like, Vivi is a Vivi beater, right?
It's got a 50% win rate against Vivi.
So yeah, it's going back to the win rates, right? You look at Vivi, the only decks that have. So obviously it's 50% in the mirror. Teamer Battlecrier has a 50% matchup against it. Selesnya Gearhulk, Boros Burn, and Golgari Midrange are the only decks that I'm seeing. And it's a very low confidence interval because it's sub 20 matches in the data over the last 30 days. So Boros Burn 47%, Selesnya Gearhulk 41%, Jeskai Golgari Midrange 43%. There was another one here. Yeah, so those 3 decks.
Yeah.
Everything else is it beats.
Yeah.
It beats, right? So, like,
well Simic,
Simic, people thought Simic aggro, like this guy, the guy that top 8'd Baltimore. He apparently beat a lot of Vivi throughout. He's like, I played Vivi 10 times, and I think he won 8 of them or something like that, or he won maybe all of them. I can't remember. But right here, 53 matches, it shows that Simic aggro has a sub 50% win rate against Vivi, 45%. So that's this other deck that kind of interests me, right? It's another deck that did well at the tournament in terms of its numbers. Only 2.5% of day 1, almost 4% of day 2, so like a 45% increase in its meta share from day 1 to day 2. And then it put 2 decks in the top 32, 1 into the top 8, so good representation.
Right.
Basically increasing
small
sample size, but increasing meta share from day 1 to day 2 to the top 32 to the top 8, right? You saw this increase there. I don't know, Jeskai Control, I guess, showed a similar increase in meta share from day 1 to day 2, but again, small sample size. Right. I think, let's just see what the win rate data shows for Jeskai.
Is that the 4-color?
Yeah. Oh, see. No, 4-color control is different than Jeskai Control. So Jeskai Control is like Shiko,
okay,
Lightning Helix, Stock Ups.
Okay.
Yeah, 4-color control is on here, but like 4-color control and Azorius Control both saw a decrease in their meta share basically as the tournament progressed. You saw them, it's kind of the same thing that we saw with the modern event. We saw this like increase in their conversion into the higher performing decks if they made it to day 2, which makes me curious if there's something about the way their control deck is maybe structured, or maybe it speaks to the quality of the player. I'm not really sure.
No.
Because, even though it was only, 1% of the day 1 meta, it still put 1 in the top 32.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Whereas, like, kind of similar stuff for Azorius Control and 4-color control, right? Kind of you saw maybe a poor performance from day 1 to day 2, but you saw like a reasonable conversion into the top performing decks. So, but I think Vivi is still just the best deck. There's not really much to talk about here.
No.
People were talking about like Azorius aggro, 2% of day 1, put 1 into the top 32. Leyline Red, right? Probably a handful of people in the tournament that were playing at day 1.
Yeah.
One guy, took it all down. So, I actually played a couple games with Simic aggro, and I think it shows here that the control matchups for Azorius. So I didn't play Azorius. I played 4-color, and I crushed my opponent. Like, it was not close. Like, game 1, I overwhelmed them.
Yeah.
Game 2, I like put a bunch of counters on a Oboroid and killed him with a. I did 17 to my opponent in one turn with an Oboroid and a Gene Pollinator. So,
Yeah, the deck can be pretty explosive.
but you just think it's Vivi, right? Like it's
Oh yeah,
you just play Vivi.
I would.
Yeah.
While you can.
Right.
Yeah, it's not even. It's like Vivi's up here, tier 0, and everything else is way below.
1.5.
Yeah, not even tier 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean mono red, excluding Leyline Red, so the kind of the traditional mono red builds, only saw a modest increase in its day 1 to day 2 meta share, 18.5% to 20%. So nothing stellar there. Like not, positive conversion, but and then it put a few decks into top 32, and then like one Boros Mice deck into the top 8, Boros aggro, and then one Simic aggro, one mono red aggro. Anything interesting that you saw in coverage?
No, just the Rakdos Leyline deck. I love that deck.
Should we talk about Is It Cauldron and how they're trying to like change it to maybe deal with the mirror? We kind of saw some interesting stuff out of that. Like we started to see some people playing Nathan Stoyer's Worlds card in there. What's that card called? Hold on, it's in one of these lists. It is
The Duelist of the Mind.
Duelist of the Mind. Yeah, there you go.
It was in here somewhere.
It was in rattling around.
Yeah, because I was just looking at that list this morning.
And so, how did you like Duelist of the Mind? I don't know. Like, I feel like I would just rather have a fear of missing out. Like it, and maybe that's why it's kind of serving as like fear of missing out number 2.
No, Steam Core Scholar.
Or number 5. Well, this list in particular, I think that this is a poor decision. This list is only playing, it's down a Soul Cauldron. It's not playing as many Steam Core Scholars. It's only playing 3 Vivi. And I think that they were trying to make room for Storm Chaser's talent, which...
Go back up.
I don't know how I feel about Storm Chaser's talent with a bunch of Flood Mauls running around.
Yeah, I don't like it in the list, especially in the mirror.
Yeah. Like I saw some people were trying to play 1. I think I can get behind 1 because it can give you something else to do with your mana when you start to go off.
Yeah,
but
it's good once you have a Vivi under a Cauldron, but then so is everything else in your deck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that you just want to play 4 Agatha Soul Cauldron because you can, if you get multiple copies, there's ways for you to discard them with Steam Core Scholar. If you're going to play Duelist of the Mind, you can discard them with that. You can discard them with
well, and then
Winter
also
Night Stories.
In turns where I'm going off, I've cast another Agatha.
Yeah, to get another set of mana.
Keep the new one.
Right.
Eat another Vivi and
yeah. So you just want 4, period, right?
Yes.
I saw a list that was running 3 profs, eidetic memory. I was like, why would you only run 3 of this card? You always want it, right?
Yeah, the card's
you just
broken.
Always want it.
Yeah. Yeah, turn 2 profs or turn 2 Cauldron.
Yeah.
You're in there.
Yeah. Like I can see, Steam Core Scholar. I can see like a potential debate with Steam Core Scholar and maybe a Tursa, like maybe a Storm Chaser's talent. But I feel like 4 profs, 4 Agathas, 4 Vivi are like non-negotiable, right?
Yeah, I've tried cutting down to 3, playing 3 VVs, and I'm on all 4.
Yeah. I think the sideboard that I like the most in top 8 of this,
but Duelist of the Mind, I can get behind that.
I think it's like a yeah, a little. It's cheaper, right? Gets out on the field sooner,
Yeah,
and then you kind
helps
of have
helps filter.
yeah, you kind of have a recursive way to
See new cards.
commit those crimes because Agatha Soul Cauldron helps you commit crimes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you've got a number of ways to target your opponent's stuff
Yep.
and trigger the crime, and so it almost becomes it. Its floor is relatively low compared to a lot of the other cards in the deck, compared to like a Steam Score Scholar or a FOMO, but it has a fairly high ceiling.
Yeah, because with a duelist and a profs, now I'm doubling.
Yeah, right.
The power every
for that creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
and vigilance.
If you commit multiple crime, it only triggers once a turn, but if you have a Duelist of the Mind in play over the course of 3 turns, that's 3 cards you get to look at, whereas Steam Core Scholar and FOMO are just 1. So being able to look at more cards, I think, is key here. Nam Dang, where's your list, sir? So yeah, I liked this sideboard the most, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it was Mr. Kurtzman's list. It just seemed pretty clean to me. I like this list.
That's close to my sideboard.
I think the concession of Pyroclasm over Fire Magic is just that 1 extra mana, right?
That's go down a little bit. Yeah, so that's my exact main deck also.
I like the one
Riddler and add a single Terza. It's the list I was running last night.
Oh, you're just 2 Riddlers main?
2 Riddlers main, 2 on the side.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
I've also played
the
with
Steam Core
4
Scholar
Riddlers main, but
the Steam Core Scholar with FOMO
is great.
Is very good, and then I kind of prefer Steam Core Scholar to Terza because it's a vigilant flyer, the synergy with profs, and then the fact that you get to see the cards before you discard, whereas Terza,
right? That's why
you don't.
Only running 1 Terza.
The 1 Terza. Obviously, the haste side, the extra power and toughness on Terza is great.
Can win games,
right?
So the 1 of, I think, is
you just maybe cast a Winter Night Stories and cast a Terza, make it hasty, and all of a sudden you just have all these counters to put on Terza, or maybe it enables Delirium, and it can come together. I think I'd like the consistency of Steam Core Scholar a little bit more, but I think the only thing I would consider changing from Kurtzman's list to something I would run is trying to find a way to put another torch in the main. But he's got the 2 Abrades in the main, so maybe...
Yeah, I like that split.
Maybe
that's what I'm on.
Maybe this is fine.
I'm on 2 torch main, 2 torch side, the 2 Abrades main.
I just really like Obliterating Bolt because it has enough, it deals enough damage that you still might be able to get an opposing. I think you bring in Obliterating Bolt in the mirror, right?
Mirror?
Maybe. No,
I wouldn't.
I guess not.
I could be wrong, but I don't.
I guess not. But you don't really want the torches, right?
No, bring in 2 and all.
I mean, you're gonna probably sub out the torches, yeah.
Yeah, bring in 2 and all, 2 spell pairs. Rest of the Riddlers.
Yeah.
Maybe a barrage if you have a barrage.
Yeah. It's a fun deck to play, but I can see why people hate it, people who didn't get the cards or who aren't invested in it, don't feel like buying it, who just don't like this style of deck. It just cleans them up.
Yeah, Blue-Red has been doing that for a while now, right? Yeah. People are tired of it.
For sure. So so
don't ban Vivi, please.
Yeah.
Ban Cauldron.
I think Vivi's getting the axe, dude.
Probably, but
It's just so individually powerful because there were some lists that did well that weren't playing Soul Cauldron.
yeah, but I think
I think that, and I think those people were on a mission to show that like Vivi's stupid by itself.
right, but it's not. It's not really, is it?
It is, bro.
No.
100% is.
If
Any non-creature spell, giving it counters to.
yeah, that's fine.
Not having to tap for the mana.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not.
I
It's
think
all of that stuff together is insane.
I think it's way more fair
But,
without
like, look,
Cauldron.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Wizards didn't ban Vivi because there's going to be this new product release of Final Fantasy cards at the new year.
Right.
Because they're doing a second print run or whatever, and they don't want to hurt their bottom line. I get that. But I just think that the right thing to do is ban Vivi. I think it's too good.
No, ban Cauldron.
I think that Cauldron, like, I think if they were to ban Cauldron, they would be making a mistake because of all the other interesting things you might be able to do with Cauldron in the standard format.
But do you think, I guess Vivi would still be quite possibly oppressive
Yes.
without Cauldron because of profs?
Yes.
But
So what are they going to ban? Props and
Cauldron.
and Cauldron?
Yes.
And then they'll ban Leyline Resonance, like
Yeah.
Screaming Nemesis.
Screaming Nemesis,
Yeah,
Kaido.
We'll see.
So they've kind of boxed themselves into this corner, right? With the 3-year rotation of having to ban aggressively. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking another 6 or 7 cards.
Yeah, it's hard for their R&D department, I'm assuming, to test a wider standard
Right.
format, right? Like, there's just that many more cards, there's that many more permutations of things to take a look at. So what would you play in Modern? We talked about Modern and Standard. I think we both know Vivi is the choice for Standard.
Yeah, until it's gone.
Even if I'm distracted by Simic Aggro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Hutt and I talked about Jackal, Genius Geneticist, and how silly that card would be.
Yeah, the deck's probably good.
Yeah.
But Vivi is
Way better.
the best.
Yeah.
Right? It's not even in the same format as all these other decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other night I drew 30 plus cards on turn 4.
Yeah.
In Standard. That shouldn't be possible.
Right.
It was crazy. The deck's disgusting. But don't ban Vivi, please.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Watsy.
They're not. So, Modern. What would you play in Modern? Based on kind of some of the...
What would I play? I'd play a blank deck.
Yeah, Esper or Jeskai.
Esper or Jeskai, yeah.
And how would you form it? I think Jeskai, Blink, because of the success at the recent RC by our boy Vinny, who was on last week. Take a listen to that episode if you haven't.
What up, Vinny?
Fantastic episode. I think we talked a lot about a lot of very meaningful things in that, and I think I'm looking forward to having more guests on in the future.
Yeah.
But so I think that list, there's not much to change about it. I think maybe you could, but Esper, it seems like there's a lot of different takes on that.
Right.
With like some are more blue heavy with force negation and subtlety.
And Frog.
And Frog, right. And then others are kind of maybe just splashing.
Which is the
blue.
one I'm trying next if I can put it together online. I just have to acquire some more tickets because it's like 1,000 ticks.
Yeah, Mike and I were kind of talking about subtlety, and I think he kind of convinced me that obviously subtlety is good against Titan, but it's not really good in the mid-range matchups because, like, even if you're not losing the card advantage of pitching a card, even if you're able to hard cast it, you're still just delaying the inevitable if it's like a serious threat, or even if it's a Titan. But so I'm a little down on Vivi right now, or I'm sorry, on subtlety right now.
Oh, I still like a few.
Yeah. So but
I think, yeah, for sure, cut it in the blink mid. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Subtlety of Solitude.
Like so subtletying a Flage is usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Because all their cards have gone away, and then are they gonna put Flage on top?
An escaped Flage for
sure.
Escaped Flage, sorry. Oh, never mind, I'm not cutting it. Thank you for changing my mind.
Yeah, I think that's, and the Flage is one of like the pivotal cards in the I don't know, something to think
in
about.
the Jeskai list, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And there's all these consigns running around. It seems kind of questionable, but
Yeah, I need to do some heavy testing before Vegas.
yeah.
It's crunch time.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like Titan Affinity. I don't know. I've played some decks with Affinity, and there seems to be draws where you like mulligan, and you really have to have a payoff card. And if you mulligan too many times and you still don't have a payoff card, like it cannot be very good. But obviously, the ceiling of like a turn 1 or 2 Kappa Cannoneer is probably unbeatable by
Most
many
decks.
decks,
Yeah.
right? Like many of these more mid-range decks. Titan obviously doesn't care about your Kappa Cannoneer. It's going to kill you or it's not. So
Yeah.
obviously it's a good clock if you have other interaction to deal with Titan. But so that's kind of
I can see
I'm at.
Jeskai Blink being good against it. Any deck with Solitude and main deck consigns can deal with the Kappa.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I may need to main deck some consigns if I'm playing Esper.
Yeah. What do you think? Wrap it up?
Yeah, wrap it up.
Okay. So
What are you gonna play Saturday?
Saturday? Vivi, I think.
Vivi?
Like 95%. Maybe I get some reps in with Simic Aggro and I'm, the vibes, right? Like Vinny said, if the vibes are right.
Yeah. If you're not vibing with Vivi,
I think it's fun, though.
I'm vibing with Vivi.
Vivi's fun. So we'll see.
I should be going with you.
So you want to share your social media?
Oh yeah, find us on YouTube at My Guys Magic Podcast, on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter, My Guys Magic Podcast. Find me on Twitter at pdub999, or catch me on Moto.
Dead Baby Unicorn.
Oh yeah, Dead Baby Unicorn. Catch me on the streets.
Yeah, and if you want to find me on Twitter, Joe_77 or Joe_Mama_77. You can also find us on Blue Sky, My Guys Magic Podcast. Still haven't set up a Facebook yet, but that's all right. I think we're getting the proper amount of exposure that we need for now, but just gonna keep doing this because we love it. So, all right, my guys.
All right, my guys.
See you next week.
Peace.